Last night, I attended an office party with Sugar Daddy that his work through, and oh, girls, it was so boring. Thank goodness there was alcohol and an after party. I'm really not enthused with my makeup choice for last night. In fact, it actually wears better now that it's been there for a few hours. In today's video, I'm going to discuss something, it's probably a little bit more serious than some of the things that I actually do discuss in my regular videos. And it's based off something that I find kind of ludicrous, but also find some validity in. Puppy. Mowing away again. Ugh. I'm trying to teach that little bitch dignity. Ugh. Clearly it doesn't work. At any rate, a radio station has decided that they're going to stop playing the song Baby It's Cold Outside due to connotation of the Me Too movement. Now at first, I thought, oh, this is just ridiculous, that people are just being far too sensitive. And then I happened to do a little bit of research. I love doing research. The original version does actually show connotations of a gentleman who is not wanting his lady friend to leave and is willing to do all sorts of things to make her stay. Also in the song, it is clear that, she does want to leave, and the song goes on, and, if you're not familiar with the song, I suggest you take a listen to it, and also for the reasons that I'm going to give you here as well. So in that original context, I was listening to the song, and I was like, well, that actually does hold some valid points as far as the Me Too movement. And I was like, okay, all right, so maybe it's not as ludicrous as I was thinking. Now, I don't want any of you to think that I am taking the Me Too movement lightly at all, by any means. I actually have been affected by it myself. When I was a young lady, and not really quite sure if I really wanted to be a relationship kind of woman or not, I was seeing a young man who was very, very attractive. Not the brightest crayon in the box. But, there were times when I would be enjoying my nightly cocktail, and it turns out that he would slip something into my drink, and I would eventually wake up to him forcing himself on me. And that's my Me Too story, and so I get this. I understand those subjects quite intimately. So when I first heard the holiday song Baby It's Cold Outside, it was a version done by two males from a popular television show from a few years back. And I thought it was whimsical, it was delightful, it was playful and fun, and very, very romantic. I've heard some subsequent versions of it ever since then, and I've always gotten that same vibe from the song. Nothing about it actually resonated with me on a sort of Me Too notion. However, upon hearing that initial original version, it is clear that there is some not so nice things going on there. So does that mean that we pull the song off the air entirely, all versions, or just that initial version? And this is what is going to bring me into a whole other topic of a couple things. One of them being the term snowflake. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But the terminology of the word snowflake basically is a nice way of saying you're a pussy. In this age of social media, there are people who obviously raise their voices about things that truly affect them, things that offend them, or things that they're very sensitive about. And for people who are a little bit more crass and a little bit more jaded, they refer to those people as snowflakes. And that connotation does have some funny qualities to it, but it does hold some merit, because I do think that people do get too sensitive about things. However, there is validity in the reasons that they're feeling that way. So why should they be made to feel less for feeling the way that they feel? This really is a double-edged sword, because if you take a song like Baby It's Cold Outside and decide to pull it off the air for its entirety of a connotation that somebody sees about it, okay, that's fine. Then do we need to start looking at things like movies from the 1960s, where women are obviously put into Me Too positions? Or if you take a look at the recent story about the Confederate statue that can't be removed legally, even though many people feel that it should. At what point do we begin to eradicate things that are historical or monumental in history or in culture to appease people who think it's offensive? I think that is left up to a determination of many. And in regards to the Confederate statue, there's so much about this that I could spend hours talking about this. But, Confederacy has a lot of ties to slavery, and that's why people are so upset about that. And on the other side, people will say, well, it's a part of our history. And where do you draw that line? Where do you draw that line in regards to, say, a racial movement or a movement like Me Too? And it's tough. It's really hard. Because, for instance, like with the song Baby It's Cold Outside, I can see the connotation of the Me Too movement there, but I actually firmly think that it's a fun, flirty, romantic song. So my question to all of you is, are you a snowflake on any particular issue? Or are you a person that truly believes in removing a song like Baby It's Cold Outside due to the connotation of the Me Too movement? If you're not, how do you feel about things like this? Where does that line get drawn as far as content in history, in popular culture? Do you feel that it is going to bring us to a level where things in motion pictures, television, music are going to need to be maybe censored for content or intention? And does that infringe on creative rights? It's a huge, huge topic to discuss. And I invite all of you to discuss this with each other in the comments below. I just ask you, please be respectful of other people's opinions, whether you think they're right or they're wrong, and be open-minded. There are certain things about this conversation that I think I could learn from. One thing that I think that I could be a snowflake about is some of the Mel Brooks movies. I watched those, and I understand the time frame in which they were filmed and things like that, and it's, I guess, intended to be a comedy based on racial differences, I still found it very offensive. I didn't like a lot of the connotations that some of his movies presented. There are other movies of his that I find absolutely hilarious. And so that is one of the things where I'm really conflicted on. So I can be a little bit of a snowflake in that aspect. So please, folks, share your thoughts. As I said, be respectful and open-minded, and share your comments below. I would love to hear them and interact with you. Also, I'm going to try to actually pick a day out of the week where I get to actually associate with you via YouTube. It's my primary form of social media aside Facebook. Facebook's a little bit more on the personal side for me, but I've been getting some really, really nice comments and reactions on my YouTube page. So I want to take a day out of the week to show appreciation and talk to my friends on YouTube and let them know that I really appreciate their fandom. So I really want to thank you. I really haven't been consuming much alcohol in this episode. Well, I've got to at least do that. In all actuality, I've really curtailed my drinking in my videos. I thought it was going to be like a staple of mine, like my trademark. Usually by the end of the videos, I'm in my southern accent, and that hasn't happened in a while. Oh, I think I need to change that. Next episode, I'm going to get wasted, bitches. At any rate, love each other. Be good to each other this holiday season. And, well, all year round, actually. But this is a great time of year to really take in all the stuff that is good about life in general and the people around you and appreciating everything for what it is. And that's your Muffin advice, bitches. Bye, y'all. Ooh, I feel like I'm channeling